Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today's video is going to be reading Rachel's or Ravenhairedreader's fantasy romance favorites. But before hopping too far into it, if you're new here, hello, my name is Emily. This is MacInnis Mama, where you will find mostly bookish content with the occasional lifestyle type video thrown in there. If that's something that interests you, I would love it if you would subscribe to my channel. Rachel's been on BookTube for less than a year, but has quickly become one of my favorites. She recently surpassed 6,000 subscribers, which is so exciting, so congratulations, Rachel. On my November TBR, which I can link my TBR game up in the cards above, I got Daughter of No Worlds by Carissa Broadbent. That is available on Kindle Unlimited and is giving me Throne of Glass vibes, and I became aware of this book through Rachel, and I'm very excited to get to this. And then not on my November TBR because I forgot to put it on there is A Court of Silver Flames by Sarah J. Maas. I am buddy reading this with my friend Sam, as well as following along with Hannah's and Christina's read along, so I need to get this read, and Rachel said this is her favorite because of the mental health representation. So now I was thinking, okay, in November I'm reading 2 of Rachel's fantasy romance favorites, and that is what I kind of think of when I think of Rachel's reading, is she loves fantasy romance. So I messaged her and asked her, 1, if she was okay if I did this video, but 2, if she would like to add a 3rd book onto my TBR for this video that I will read. And she said, how about A Song of the Marked, which, if you've been watching my channel, is a book that I have been wanting to read for many months, again because of Rachel. So I'm going to be reading 3 of Rachel's fantasy romance favorites. 2 of them are available on Kindle Unlimited and are the first books in their series. And A Court of Silver Flames is, of course, the 4th full book in the ACOTAR series. I'm reading this for the very first time. I'm very excited. And this is following Nesta and Cassian. I will not be giving spoilers on this book, just my general feelings, gaining more insight onto why this book is Rachel's favorite when I think Akamath is most people's favorites. It's not my favorite. I actually preferred Akawar over Akamath. And I think that I will be right alongside Rachel with this being my favorite because I absolutely love Nesta. Since I'm already talking so extensively about this, I have started it. I'm about to start chapter 17. I'm on page 196. There are less than 800 pages in here, so I'm about, 25% of the way through? Math is hard. And I'm loving it. With like an asterisk of, I am so grateful that mental health representation is in here and is done well in here, but this is going to be TMI. I have been PMSing so bad. Like, world is ending, everything sucks, I hate everything. And then reading about Nesta in a very dark place, I was not having a fun time. Like, this is so convoluted. I was loving the book because I love Sarah J. Maas and I love these characters, but at the same time, like, I was in a dark place, hormonally, if you will, and then Nesta was in a dark place. But at this point in the book, she is making very small steps out of the darkness, and I'm so excited to read about their journey. Also, I've been told that this book is super spicy, and I am so excited for that. And already, in the last 2 chapters, like chapter 15 and 16, I didn't actually make notes. Maybe I should have done that, but I feel the tension building. So, I'm very excited to see where that goes. Originally, I wanted to read Daughter of No Worlds by Carissa Broadbent first, like next after A Court of Silver Flames, or at the same time, I'm not sure, because I'm reading 5 chapters a day of this book, because that's on my A Daughter of No Worlds. Can you tell it's very late and I'm very scatterbrained? A Daughter of No Worlds is on my actual November TBR, and I need to read that, but Rachel said she loves that even more than A Song of the Marked. So do I want to save the best for last? Maybe I will leave that up to an Instagram poll. I've been loving doing that in reading vlogs lately, of like, I'll pick the books in general that I want to read, but then like which one I pick up first or next, leave it up to Instagram. That might be what I do. That sounds fun. If you're interested in following me on Instagram, it is not a bookstagram. I am mainly a beauty content creator, if you didn't know. But I love reading, and bookish content didn't do well on my other channel, so I have this channel, but my Instagram is still beauty focused, but I do share about a lot of reading stuff, especially in my stories. So I love it if you follow me over there if you want to. But that's enough rambling from me. I need a drink of water or coffee or something, and I will check in with you around the halfway point on this, and then maybe before, or I have no idea what I'm doing when I'm a little ways into one of my other books. This has gone on for too long. I'll see you guys later. Hey guys, I just wanted to check in. I am just about to go outside with the kids, but I am halfway through A Court of Silver Flames now, and I am loving it. I think my prediction is this is going to be my favorite ACOTAR book as well. I think I like Nesta and Cassian more than Feyre and Rhys. Can I say that? Is that a bad thing to say? I just relate more with Nesta. I think I'm like, by nature, kind of like a grumpier person, I guess you could say, and just her mental health struggles. I think the mental health representation in here is really good. I'm also liking their adventures, and you know, like these suspenseful scenes that have you just like can't even turn the pages fast enough. The spice in here is so hot and heavy and great. That might be weird to say on the internet, but here we are. I am just loving every part of this book. Reading only 5 chapters per day with my friend Sam has been so hard for me because I just want to keep reading it. I'm having the best time. I will let you know in a couple of days how I end up getting on with it, but this is definitely feeling like a solid 5-star book for me, which would mean that one of Rachel's favorites is also one of my favorites, which that I'll be interested to see if I rate all 3 of these fantasy romance books 5 stars like Rachel did. I think this is going to be a fun experiment. Domino, don't scratch up the door frame. But I need to go outside with the kids now. Let me know if you read A Court of Silver Flames, which I'm sure a lot of you have. What did you think? Do you like Nesta and Cassian more than Feyre and Rhysand? Or do you like them both equally but for different reasons? I don't know. Also, me and Sam were talking about I should be getting outside, but not loving the relationship dynamic shown in here from Feyre and Rhysand. It's just a weird power dynamic, I feel like, right now. Like, I'm just not loving the direction that their relationship is going, or the parts that are being shown. The kids are yelling outside. I don't want to say like anything beyond that because I don't want to say any spoilers, but just not loving that. Also, Kelpies, absolutely fucking terrifying. I googled images and I did that right before bed last night. Not a great idea. Okay, I'm gonna stop rambling. I need to go save the children. We're fighting over nothing, it appears. And I'll check in with you guys when I have finished. I finished. I love this. 5 stars, 5.5 stars. This is my favorite ACOTAR book. I think I've basically said everything I needed to say about this, like non-spoilery, but I believe Rachel has said this is her favorite ACOTAR book. I'm right there with her. The mental health representation, I just loved it. It was a roller coaster going through this with Nesta, and I feel like that is the most realistic mental health representation I have ever seen. She seems to get better, then there's some setbacks, and I feel like that's how it is in life, and I appreciated that so much. It wasn't just conversations or just this book is very spicy, so just sexual things didn't solve her problems. Just, you know, doing these certain activities she was doing, I don't really want to say too much. It wasn't any one thing that just magically solved all her problems. And I also loved the like adventure pieces of this. I think the most, like the more action scenes, I guess, when we were going places, things were happening, I was turning the pages so fast. And that end part of like the last bit of, what am I trying to say? The last big thing that happened, I couldn't read it fast enough. I will say, hello Domino. After I finish it, so I'm doing this as a buddy read with my friend Sam, as I keep saying. When I finished this, and it is kind of mentioned in the last few pages, not a lot plot-wise has been resolved from the beginning of this book to the end. Jeez. With certain characters in play, certain like a war thing looming, politics stuff with other countries or continents or kingdoms or however it's described in the series, I don't know. A lot of those plot things hasn't been resolved, and I still loved it. And that makes me even more excited to see what happens in the next book. I feel like we did not get, I know everyone thinks the next book is going to be just about Asriel, which I would love that, but I also hope it has a lot more of more, because she's hardly in this and you know that she's off doing stuff. So, but I am hoping, please, I don't even know why I'm putting this into the universe because I'm going to jinx it. She hasn't even started writing the next book as far as I know. Please do not do the Tower of Dawn thing where we go back to like the beginning of this timeline, but from like Moore's perspective and seeing everything she's doing over on like in different places. I do not want that. Anyways, I agree with Rachel. This is one of Rachel's favorites. It's one of my favorites. I loved it so much. Favorite in the series. I can't believe I now have to wait 100 years with everyone else. And I'm so excited to continue that series. But the next book I'm going to pick up for this reading vlog of reading Rachel's favorites is A Song of the Marked by S.M. Gaither. And I will pop in with a better synopsis when I'm around 150 pages in. But I'm very excited to continue my fantasy romance era and pick up this new series now that I have kind of crossed a series off my list, if you will, because that's all there is to read. And yeah, I'm excited to hop into a new world, and Rachel has said very amazing things about this book, and then Daughter of No Worlds she likes even more. So I'm saving the best for last, hopefully, because I don't want to like be on a high with A Court of Silver Flames and Daughter of No Worlds and then not love A Song of the Marked, if that makes sense. But I'm hoping I love all three of these books. I'm rambling. let me go get reading. Please excuse my appearance. I literally just woke up. It is still dark outside. Got coffee. Have this cozy sweater pajama shirt situation on. Anyways, I need to check in for the Song of the Marked because I am at the turning point in this story, I'm pretty sure. I'm 22% in on page 122 on my Kindle version here, and I am absolutely loving it so far. In the synopsis, I'm pretty sure our main character is one of the Fade Marked, and then she is taken by the crown and then is used to go on some grand adventure, right? Well, I'm at the point where I'm pretty sure she's about to be taken, so I did want to check in. I still don't have all of her friends slash companions sorted out like completely in my head yet, and I'm worried that I now won't see very much of them once she goes off with these royal guards or whatever. I don't know how to my brain is not working. I have not had my coffee yet, but I did want to say that I'm loving it, and I didn't want to get further than this turning point in the story before I've checked in, even though I don't have that much to say, because I want to sit down and drink my coffee and read more. So I will elaborate later when my brain is working better. Hey guys, I am feeling a bit more like a human now. I am showered, which is why my hair is up like this because it is sopping wet. But I wanted to give you a proper check-in on the Song of the Marked. I am loving it. Like I said earlier, I can now give you a better synopsis of what this is about. So we're following our main character, Cassia, and she is Fade Marked, one of the very few people in this world to have survived the fading sickness. And she needs to remain hidden, so she's kind of, has fit in with this band of misfits. She's kind of a thief. She's a very strong-willed, stabby female main character, which I just think is a lot of fun to follow. And within this story, at some point, she gets taken by the crown, probably for one of her many, many crimes, and she is often disguised. She often disguises her Fade Markedness. Like her eyes are like a faded grayish color. Her hair looks like it is like leached of color, etc. So she disguises it herself. And there are many kinds of magic in this world, which I'm still like not fully knowing what they are, but there are these crystals that have certain abilities tied to them, and one of them can kind of change your appearance. So that's what she uses, though they are very expensive. Anyways, she gets taken by the crown at some point while she is disguised, and eventually through her imprisonment, that eventually wears off, and they discover that she is actually one of the Fade Marked, and she thinks this is going to be a death sentence. However, the King Emperor is actually like, interesting, I need your help. And they're actually trying to find the cure for the fading sickness because it is like a plague on the world. It's taking random people and you're dead very soon. Cassia's parents actually died within a year of getting the sickness, but it seems to be getting worse because people are dying within like 1 month or 2 weeks. Like it's accelerating and they need to find a cure. So that is the lead up to this story. I know this is a fantasy romance, and I believe our main character is a certain grumpy fellow that we have met, but I'm not sure. There was a quote I just read that was like every time she looks at him, she can't help but be intrigued, and that just makes her want to stab him more. And I just think that that's so much fun. It's like a grumpy sunshine, enemies to lovers situation, and I'm just having a great time. And I'm not trying to rush through this, like consciously, but subconsciously, I'm like, I'm loving this so much. Let me read it as fast as I can because Daughter of No Worlds is supposed to be even better. Do a video. I see a lot of like, if you liked ACOTAR, read this type content, both on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, you know, all the places. I don't see as much content like that for Throne of Glass. And I actually like Throne of Glass more than ACOTAR. So I might try and put together a little something to do with that. We will see if that happens, but I am just like fully in the fantasy romance mood. I have so many saved. I've been taking screenshots of Instagram and people's like YouTube videos whenever they recommend a fantasy romance that they've been obsessed with lately. I've been screenshotting it and I want to read all of them. I am the queen of the longest check-ins ever. I would like to say since doing like up until this point in this video, I'm not making any sense. My extending spooky season reading vlog went live on my channel. I can link that up in the cards. Thank you guys so much for your love and support on that video. It was kind of a hot mess and took a long time because I like spaced out my reading, and you guys seem to be loving it even though it was almost an hour long. I'm hoping this one won't be as long, so I'm going to stop rambling now, but I just wanted to say thank you so much for your support on that one and look forward to more reading vlogs in the future because TBRs and reading vlogs are my favorite bookish content. Hey guys, excuse the very weird setup. You are in my bathroom and I just showered, washed my hair, which I hate doing, and I did wash my face, but I have mascara all over my face. So I'm going to use my Marcel Micellar water to take it off. I figured I would just check in on the Song of the Marked while I have thoughts in my head while I do my skincare to kind of kill two birds with one stone, if you will. And I'm going to try not to stab my eyeball out while I do this. So I am over 50% into the Song of the Marked now, and my feelings have remained the same. I am absolutely loving it. I don't know if it's like 5-star feels, but definitely 4.5 stars. Loving it so much. And what I wanted to add, now going in with my eye cream, is that I forgot to mention at first, even though I also had this thought, I'm loving the anxiety representation, and it might seem weird, but I almost feel like I'm getting some additional coping mechanisms out of a fantasy romance. Like some of the things our main character Cassia does to help cope with her anxiety, I'm always like, would that help me? One thing, if she's feeling like super overwhelmed and feels a panic attack coming on, or there's just too much stimulation, is she taps and then tries to only focus on her finger and the sound of the tapping. And I was like, does that work? I struggle with anxiety and I feel like it's gotten worse and worse over the years. But yeah, I just found that really interesting, and one of our characters asked her to kind of like walk him through it and explain what is going on, why does it happen, what does it feel like for her. And I just really loved how like natural and easy that conversation came about and was discussed in that chapter. And it's an ongoing thing. I don't like, in some books, I can't even think of a specific example at this moment, but I have read books in the past where like a call out will be like anxiety rep or mental health rep or something like that, and it's almost like a marketing tactic because it's mentioned for like 2 seconds in the book and then that's it. But like her anxiety is obviously a big part of her life, and like going through the different situations with her, we're still seeing that, but not in a like repetitive, annoying kind of way. Am I making any sense? I really apologize for the weird angle. This is my nighttime moisturizer right now. I need to repaint my nails, but today is the end of November. This reading vlog is taking me a really long time, and Vlogmas starts tomorrow. I already have tomorrow's video uploaded, scheduled, but I would have liked to be further ahead than this. I have lots filmed, but just not edited, which is the hardest part. Anyways, that's not what this video is about. Now I'm stuttering because I'm so freaking tired. I just wanted to check in and mention and kind of rave about the anxiety representation in this book with our main character, and something major just happened where I left off before I came to shower. Some crazy stuff that I don't want to spoil anything. So anyways, still loving the book. I will probably check in when I finish at this point, unless I have some like really drastic changes in my feelings. Hey guys, I finally finished The Song of the Marked, and I gave it 4 stars. I think it was a really great start to a new fantasy romance series. I will say I was hoping for a little more spice, and there was like 2 parts to the big twist at the end, and one part I saw coming from like literally page number 1, but another part I was like, oh, that's interesting, an interesting turn of events, and I'm really excited to hop into the sequels. I think this is a 5-book series, I believe, and I'm really excited to continue. I had one of those moments upon reflection of like, this is over 500 pages, and I kind of was like, did enough happen in 500 pages? But at the same time, like, I read through it really quickly, so like, does it matter? I had a great time. There is some really great banter in there. I liked the more slow burn-ish of the fantasy romance. It wasn't like extremely slow burn, but yeah, I really thoroughly enjoyed my time. I feel like I don't have a ton to say about it because I obviously am keeping this spoiler free, but it was a really great start to a new series. Oh, I did want to mention, I love in fantasies when the gods of the world, or like the mythology behind the world or whatever, I love when those gods are like interfering with the world, or like our characters like of themselves, not just like these mythical beings that they refer to. Does that make sense? And the gods are prominent characters in this series, and they're like messing things up and they're doing stuff, and it was just a ton of fun. I loved all the creatures that went along with the gods, and I had a great time, and that makes me even more excited to hop into Daughter of No Worlds by Carissa Broadbent. So I'm going to go start that, and then like always I will pop in around the 100-ish page mark to give a more thorough synopsis. But so far, I mean, because I'm reading Rachel's favorites, I did not give The Song of the Marked 5 stars like Rachel did. I'm curious on if she would, upon reflection and like having read more fantasy romance that she's loved more now, if she would lower her rating, or if she still feels that it's a 5-star. It didn't give me 5-star feelings, but I still liked it a lot. I loved it, if that makes sense. So I think it's still a solid recommendation, but I am even more excited to hop into the next read. now 20% into Daughter of No Worlds by Carissa Broadbent. Why did I even need to look at that? Loving it. Definitely Throne of Glass vibes. We're following Tisana, who was a slave and she bought her freedom, made her way to the orders, and is requesting for them to train her so that she can join their ranks. Even though she is foreign, she is doing this to gain the power to free the slaves and like help bring peace to her homelands, her country. I'm not sure if they call them countries or cities, or I'm not sure. I'm in my filming space looking very oily. It's very late at night, but anyways, I am just flying through this book. It's over 500 pages, but I cannot put it down. Definitely Throne of Glass vibes. Like, not just in, oh, she was a slave and she's rescued and now she's training and she's a badass and she has light colored hair, but also like the writing. Not that Carissa Broadbent's writing is super similar to Sarah J. Maas's writing, but it's just very readable, consumable. Like, I just keep turning the pages so fast. The world building, while I'm still pretty confused on magic, but that's because our main character is. So like, as she's learning the magic system, we are. And I do feel like that's a bit different than Throne of Glass. There's a bit like more of a magic system. And we have fewer characters that we know right now, but I'm just having a great time. Thank you so much, Rachel, for this recommendation. I'm only 20% in, so things could change, but so far, absolutely loving it. Hello everyone, I am so sorry it has been 100 years since I have updated this reading blog. This was not my intention, but it always seems to happen this way, that I just can't complete my reading blogs in a timely manner because I'm always just reading things all over the place. But I did finish Daughter of No World by Carissa Broadbent, the first book in the War of Lost Hearts. I love this. I did give it a 4 stars. It didn't quite have that 5-star feel, and I'm not going to, the whole point of this is like reading Rachel's favorites. I'm not going to blame Rachel for that. I am going to blame my hectic, festive time, stressy mom, blah, blah, blah situation. I have not been in a great headspace pretty much all of December. It is now after Christmas. All of my Vlogmas plans went out the window when I got sick, etc. So I've been in a funk. I've still been reading, but I feel like it has kind of tainted my enjoyment, but not reading would have made me more miserable, if that makes sense. But overall, this was great. It was slow burn. We didn't get any like them together until literally the 80% mark. But the buildup was so good. Their banter was so good. I love the magic system in here. It was so good. And I love the political intrigue, which there wasn't a ton of in this book, but the epilogue really kind of brings that back to the forefront. And I think that's going to be more of a topic in the books to come, which I'm excited for. I'm very excited to continue this series. And this was a great recommendation. And because this has taken me so long, so, okay, I'm getting distracted. To recap, I read 3 of Ravenhairedreader's 5-star fantasy romance books. I gave 1 5 stars and the other 2, the KU ones, 4 stars each, but I loved all of them. Just the KU ones didn't quite give me the 5-star feels, if you know what I mean. But overall, Rachel from Ravenhairedreader is one of my favorite go-tos for fantasy romance recommendations, and because this has taken me so long, she has since read many more that I have added to my list that she has loved, including more from Carissa Broadbent, and her books are available on Kindle Unlimited as of right now, and I am excited to explore more. Oh, and look how cute this Christmassy, you can see the fan in the background, blanket on my bed. I feel so weird. I'm always like a stressy hot mess leading up to Christmas, and then as soon as it's like the 23rd and then through to the end of the year, I'm in a much better festive mood. Like I want to keep the Christmassy vibe going, even though Christmas is technically over now. Again, another random freaking tangent. Anyways, I am loving fantasy romance. I want to continue reading more in 2023. I'm so happy to have concluded ACOTAR as of right now and started 2 new series that are available on Kindle Unlimited. I do want to keep up reading a ton of KU books, and I do want that to be a larger part of my channel next year. I will film a channel and reading goals, I believe. Anyways, I'm getting sidetracked. I'm trying to cook lunch. I'm trying to do all of the things. 1 5 stars, 2 4 stars. Thank you so much, Rachel, for your recommendations. And I'm excited to read more of them and keep diving deeper into the fantasy romance genre. Let me know if you would like more content, both fantasy romance content on my channel, but also content like this where I read recommendations from certain YouTubers. I think I want to include like creators I love watching that read a lot of more epic adult fantasy, and YouTubers I like watching that read mostly contemporary romance or dark romance, like different subgenres, if that makes sense. But anyways, I need to stop this here. Emmett is being a whiner and lunch is ready for me to put together, and I'm distracted and a rambly mess. So thank you guys so much for watching this hot mess of a reading vlog. Let me know if you've read any of these fantasy romance books, what your thoughts were on them, and if you have any other fantasy romance recommendations for me. Give this video a thumbs up if you did enjoy it, and I will see you in my next one. Bye!